say to Donald Trump? How did you feel when Donald Trump called you incompetent? What did you feel?
All right, he just addressed this.
So let me just answer that. I do appreciate you begging. So I will just say it like this, that the president has always been intimidated by the intellectual prowess of black men. And so, of course, he would speak in those petite and puerile terms.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And, of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, today, you know we're going to talk about your boy, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, the great city of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, who probably, if he had just stayed a social studies teacher. Y'all know when I never knew what social studies meant. But if he had just stayed whatever he taught, if he had just kept teaching it, he probably would have been an excellent, maybe one of the greatest. But instead, he decided to be one of the worst mayors in the history of the country. So, y'all, today we're going to take a look at some hot takes from his press availability yesterday. Always say the man is out there. He's talking his talk. He does multiple press events weekly, a lot of times. So he's not ready. So he's not afraid to get in the direct line of fire. And with his terrible, absolutely abysmal job performance, there's always a lot of fire coming his way. So what we're going to see in today's video is a spar with his best top op, William Kelly, reporter William Kelly. And we're also going to see that Brandon Johnson continues on the same overly tried and true. I would say played out racial tropes. Like, y'all don't hear me talk about race a lot. It's not my thing. It's not my shtick. But I mean, I just get tired of with this guy. This guy, you know, he's going to go there. I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to show you. It's not my thing. You're not going to hear me talk about that a whole lot, but you know, it's just one of the highlights of his press availability yesterday, so we got to get into it. So, y'all, without further ado, first we're going to talk about the fact that the president said he may send the National Guard to Chicago in order to help bring the violence under control. Let's take a look. But before we do, y'all, make sure you take care of your money. I'm not going to make this a long one, y'all. Go to Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com, or call 844-651-8334, 844-651-8334. If you have $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your retirement, protected from inflation, protected from monetary debasement, you're about to retire. Make sure your money's still there and it's still worth something by investing at least some of it in gold. Talk to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Go click the link now, get the free information, and protect your precious retirement.
Well, Ravi, one lawmaker called it political theater. Another says deploying the National Guard is against the law. And Mayor Johnson says no one in Chicago is asking for the help. The response follows President Trump calling both the mayor and the governor incompetent. He did it to control protesters in Los Angeles, and now President Trump is deploying the National Guard to Washington, D.C. to combat crime, a job he claims the police can no longer handle.
If we need to, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster. We have a mayor there who's totally incompetent. He's an incompetent man.
Mayor Brandon Johnson says there is no need for the National Guard. Similar to D.C., violent crime is down in Chicago.
It would destabilize our city, quite frankly. No one in the city of Chicago, residents that I've spoken to, the people of this city, no one has ever asked for the National Guard.
Johnson says if Trump really wants to help, he would not have cut $800 million in violence prevention programs in his big policy bill. And while the president criticized Johnson, he gave Governor Pritzker a good dose of it as well.
Pritzker's an incompetent. His family threw him out of the business, and he ran for governor. And now I understand he wants to be president. But I noticed he lost a little weight, so maybe he has a chance.
I guess I should say thank you for the compliment.
Well, Pritzker says he's not ruling out a run for president. His focus now is running for a third term as Illinois governor. He says if the president sends the National Guard to Chicago, it will immediately be fought in court because Pritzker says it violates federal law.
It's not surprising to me that he suggests violating the law. He's done it many times and been convicted of it 34 times.
Meantime, Illinois Senator Dick Durbin says the threat of sending the National Guard here is nothing more than political theater.
It's a typical move by this president to create chaos and uncertainty and to draw the attention from other issues like Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, it may violate federal law to send the National Guard to Chicago. It is legal to send the troops to Washington, D.C. under the D.C. Home Rule Act of 1973. But the law says after 30 days, Congress must approve a continued takeover. And the president also had the chance to do that on January 6th, calling the National Guard. He legally could have done it, but chose not to.
Now, y'all, one of the things about this whole National Guard going to D.C., National Guard going into Chicago, there's a bit of a debate out there. And the main thing people say on the side that the National Guard should not be sent is crime is down. Hey, you don't need to send the National Guard. Crime is down. Now, I am certainly not making the case to send the National Guard. Frankly, I don't know if you should send them. And, so I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. But just the mere fact that crime used to be higher and now it's less today, that doesn't mean, that doesn't prove anything. If you used to have a world leading level of crime and now you just have a United States leading level of crime, so it's dropped from world leading to just United States leading, does that mean that somehow you've solved the problem? No. That doesn't mean you solved the problem. Maybe the problem got less bad. Okay, kudos. But does that mean you should stop looking for new solutions? Does that mean you shouldn't take drastic action? Does that mean if there's a blatant thing that you can try to bring it from United States leading levels of crime to just maybe regular levels, does that mean you shouldn't try it? So whenever somebody says, hey, crime is down, okay. Is it zero? You know what I'm saying? Does it continue? Did we just see a mass shooting in Chicago where like 20 people got shot just a few weeks ago? Do we see mass shootings in Chicago every week? Chicago people, I'm not going at your city, okay? I'm just saying. Like, does the fact that crime is down mean that, we solved the problem? No, it doesn't. Does that mean let's not try anything else? No, it doesn't. Does that mean don't try anything dramatic? Try something dramatic to take it from still highest in the country to maybe regular, okay? So again, I'm not making the case that needs to be the National Guard, but I am making the case that crime is down is one of the stupidest things anybody can say without giving additional context as to why you should or shouldn't do something, okay? So come on, y'all, let's use our thinking caps here. Now that I got that rant out of the way, y'all, let's listen to William Kelly. He is Brandon Johnson, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson's. He's his top op. It's always fun to watch these two spar. And he even takes a jab at Brandon Johnson here. And Johnson tries to jab him back, a little bit of a boxing match. Let's take a look.
Mayor Johnson, I apologize. A couple weeks ago, I asked you if you would cooperate with ICE if your wife Stacy's body was.
Hey, we just got to get to the question. There's no time for
I'm
this.
making an apology. And,
yeah, but everyone else has questions too, so we got to keep moving.
If it was your wife Stacy's body that had been
concealed and abused by Jose Luis Mendoza Gonzalez, the illegal alien, you said that you felt threatened by the question, that it scared you, and I do apologize. Over the weekend, President Trump said that you were incompetent, called you an incompetent mayor, called you an incompetent man.
Just address this.
1,000+ violent teenagers rampaged through your neighborhood, your adopted neighborhood of Austin, that you and your wife Stacey moved into.
From Elgin, and assaulted police officers, multiple shootings.
Right,
a woman was shot in the back multiple times, who sadly passed.
William.
My question to you is simply this. Do you, your neighbors in Austin do contact me, and they tell me that they don't feel threatened by my questions. They feel threatened by your anti-curfew policies that are leading to these out-of-control violent teenagers
Thank you.
murdering, apparently.
Murdering people.
Thanks, Wim. All right.
What do you say to your neighbors? What do you say to those neighbors in Austin who feel threatened by your policies?
Thank you for staying awake during our presentation. I know you have worked hard to get the necessary help that's needed, and whatever condition in which that you are dealing with, I'm glad that you are getting some help. So that means a lot to me.
Is that honestly your answer to your neighbors who have been, a neighbor of yours was shut back multiple?
Yeah, and so we are addressing community safety. That's my top priority, and we will continue to do that. Do you have a follow-up?
Thank you, Wim.
All right.
We're going to go to Justin here.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
You're the one.
Thank you.
Let's move on, please.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wim.
Who is not keeping the people of Chicago safe.
All right, we're going to go to the next question. Thanks.
What do you say to Donald Trump? How did you feel when Donald Trump called you incompetent? What did you feel?
All right, he just addressed this. Thanks.
Please answer that question. If you would.
Okay, fine. Since you are begging, I do believe that Donald Trump is intimidated. I know, I think you're
Okay,
begging.
no interruption.
So let me just answer that. I do appreciate you begging. So I will just say it like this, that the president has always been intimidated by the intellectual prowess of black men. And so of course he would speak in those petite and puerile terms because he's small.
Thanks.
Right.
Here's Justin.
So y'all, there you saw the illustrious sub 10% approval rating, Mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, bringing out the race card. Look, y'all, race is valid in certain contexts. Y'all might, if you look at my whole channel, I have 1,000 videos. You might hear me talk about race or mention race at the most in 5 out of 1,000 videos, which is what, less than 1%, like 0.5% or something. I just don't go there that much. Not interested in it. But since the illustrious sub 10% approval rating, Mayor of Chicago, goes there, I'm going to comment. Sometimes a valid part of the conversation. And sometimes it's just a lazy way of trying to get people on your side, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to let y'all decide which is which. Y'all, that's going to do it for today's video. Drop a comment down below. What do you think about the illustrious sub 10% approval rating, Mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson? Do you think that Trump is right, that this guy is mentally deficient? People on the internet are not going in on Johnson, y'all. They're like, yo, this guy is, they're using words worse than mentally deficient. Trust that. Or do you think, nah, Johnson, he's doing a good job. Crime is down. Let me know in the comments. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button. Share this video over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. For my people with a retirement, check out our link at Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com. Protect your retirement from the upsies, downsies, roundsies, and roundsies, y'all. And speak to my people at Augusta Precious Metals at 844-651-8334. Y'all, I'm going to tell you something real quick. For anybody who stuck around this long, normally I go right into the sign-off. I'm going to give you a little quick opinion. This guy is over 40. He's still using these socialistic kind of terminology. The brother's obviously smart, but it's disappointing. It's disappointing to see a smart person who is going in this direction of all this socialistic stuff, y'all. Anyway, y'all, thank y'all for watching. Love y'all. We'll see you back in the next one.